news that 2.2 million jobs were lost in the second quarter as a result of the national lockdown. We continue to focus on this issue. I'm joined via Skype by Riefdah Ajam. She's the General Secretary at FEDUSA. Thank you so much for joining us, Riefdah. Your reaction to the latest data?
Good afternoon, Nompu, and good afternoon to the viewers. Obviously, once again, not completely unexpected, but the impact and the severity of the numbers that have come through rather disheartening, and intervention required now more than ever as a result of the social compact that has been formed.
What sort of interventions are you hoping are going to be put into place?
Well, Nompu, first and foremostly, we have to acknowledge that as a result of the hard lockdown, we are now more looking at an economic recovery strategy after we have dealt with the health recovery in terms of the crisis. We are hoping that active implementation of the protocols and active implementation of that economic recovery strategy that has been crafted within the NEDLAC platforms are going to find greater expression as we move, or we attempt to move, South Africa forward. So going for the ones that are able to be actioned and implemented with vigor right now remains an opportunity for us that we have to win in order to reverse the kind of stats that have been revealed today.
Yeah, of course, you've been privy to those talks at NEDLAC, but what do you suppose is behind the delay? Because, of course, the longer that we delay this information coming out, the longer it's going to take for implementation, and the longer there's going to be continual socio-economic stress in the country.
Nompu, the content once again has been subjected to a process that is encompassing of all the social partners within NEDLAC, including government, business, labour and the community constituency, and to be able to find common ground between the stakeholders to ensure that we can give greater expression to what it is that we are attempting to achieve in terms of reversing the current, hard effects of the lockdown. So once the cabinet approval of that matter is on hand, we can certainly move forward. But once again, the focus remains on the active implementation to get us where we need to be.
Yeah. When you reflect on the second quarter, looking after quite a technical type of people in terms of the FEDUSA membership, what's the experience been like there? And have you seen instances where some of the colleagues within FEDUSA are getting their jobs back in the third quarter?
It's a very delicate subject that you are looking at. We've been looking at a number of aspects, and in this regard, newfound relations have been forged due to the knock-on effects of what is happening here. We're looking at various sectors, but most importantly, our focus at this stage is going to be on the 1st of October, day after tomorrow, a day that will signal a sense of some kind of hope for our members, not only in the tourism sector, but also in the aviation sector as international tourists start coming back to South Africa. So we once again look on to the ministries that will be the custodians of that processes to ensure that we can bring back, the rejuvenation of that sector, because you are looking at the prospects of a possible further 473,000 jobs that may be subjected to risk if we do not work hard and fast on the tourism recovery strategy at the same time. Those members only go back to active economic engagement now, and with that sector being severely impacted by the hard lockdown, we have to find all ways and means to be able to create that sense of domestic tourism, international tourism with those that are in place, but more so to ensure that there's not going to be further damages that's going to be done to the economy.
Yeah. Riefdah, with people desperately looking for solutions to the country's unemployment problem, one of the issues that keeps on coming up, particularly from the private sector, is labour regulation. Many people talking about how the national minimum wage actually prevents people from getting jobs because, some employers, especially your SMEs, can't afford. What's your view on that? Because it would essentially mean proposing people earning less than 20 Rand per hour. Do you think that we have to go there in order to try and address the unemployment problem?
Nompu, that is a fantastic question, and a question that has been debated extensively amongst the partners, in particularly business, labour and government. I don't think in any such way Labour would want to reverse the gains of many years of hard-won battles. We are looking at moving South Africa into the decent work economy. We are looking at the future of work. And if you take into account what the data has revealed today, that approximately 23% of private household employment had decreased. How do we then justify the fact that those vulnerable sectors subjected to the national minimum wage, and here we talk about domestic workers in particular, how do we give meaning to the very ideals that has been renegotiated as part of the national minimum wage engagements? So it cannot be something that is taken lightly. Whilst we consider various factors, we take into account, not only disposable income, but we take into account the socio-economic factors that must be extended and afforded in terms of social protection to those sectors. So it's not an easy topic that we're going to be discussing. It's going to take collective wisdom for us to move forward on those aspects, but certainly not one that we are going to be compromising on in any such way. It's a delicate balance, but at this stage, we have to protect those that are most vulnerable. And looking at the stats, we can only reflect and ask people to ask themselves the key questions. Do we want to go back to where we were, considering the positive and the many positive strides that has been made to those sectors?
I hear you, Riefdah. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. That was Riefdah Ajam. She's the General Secretary at FEDUSA.